Hey everyone, I have a new series for us to go through, and you might have seen a lot of Lord of the Rings LCG playthroughs on my channel, and that is because it is my #1 game of all time, and I've always been intimidated to go through the Saga expansion, but now I think I am ready. I've recently played a 3-player Hobbit campaign, and we advanced all the way through that. And so I think I'm ready to start a Hobbit deck and go through the Lord of the Rings. So a couple things to note. First off, I will be playing on a mode that is between easy and normal. I'm not the greatest at this game. So I will be taking out all of the cards in the scenarios that has a gold circle around some of the scenario cards. But I will only be starting with one resource on each hero. With that said, let's go ahead and meet our heroes. We have Sam Gamgee. He has 8 threat, 3 willpower, 1 attack, 1 defense, and 3 hit points. He's a hobbit, and after you engage an enemy with a higher engagement cost than your threat, ready Sam Gamgee, and he gets +1 willpower, +1 attack, and +1 defense until the end of the round. Next we have Merry, who is 6 threat, 2 willpower, 0 attack, 1 defense, and 2 hit points. He is also a hobbit, and he gets +1 attack for each hero you control. He has a response. After Merry participates in an attack that destroys an enemy, ready another character that participated in that attack. Thirdly, we have Pippin, who is 6 threat, 2 willpower, 1 attack, 1 defense, 2 hit points. He's also a hobbit. Each enemy in play gets +1 engagement cost for each Hobbit hero you control. Response. After you engage an enemy with an engagement cost higher than your threat, draw a card. And finally, we have Frodo Baggins, who is a 4th hero that you can play as in the Saga campaign. He is 0 threat, 2 willpower, 1 attack, 2 defense, 2 hit points. He's a Hobbit and Ring Bearer. And he has a response. After Frodo Baggins exhausts to defend an attack, exhaust the 1 ring and spend 1 Baggins resource to target the attacking enemy. Then this attack deals no damage and each player raises his threat by 2. So looking at the rules, technically this is called a Fellowship Sphere, but if you hear me use Baggins Sphere, that's because Bilbo in the Hobbit campaign uses a Baggins Sphere. So you might hear me say Baggins or Fellowship. They're interchangeable throughout this campaign. When playing a campaign, if you lose a hero in a mission and you succeed and pass that mission, then they are gone from the campaign. I'm not going to play with that because I want a more thematic campaign. So if I lose a hero during a quest, the next mission that they can come back. I will be playing with boons and burdens, which are special cards that you can gain. Boons being good, burdens being bad. So as we progress throughout the campaign, those have the potential to be attached to our characters. So let's go ahead and see our first quest. Of course, I have sometimes thought of going away, but I imagine that as a kind of a holiday, a series of adventures like Bilbo's or better, ending in peace. But this would mean exile, a flight from danger into danger, drawing it after me. And I suppose I must go alone, if I am to do that and save the Shire. But I feel very small, and very uprooted and, well, desperate. The enemy is so strong and terrible. Before leaving the Shire, Bilbo Baggins left his entire estate at Bag End to his nephew, Frodo, including the magic ring he discovered on his adventure. After his uncle's departure, Frodo was visited by the wizard Gandalf, who suspected that Bilbo's ring was in fact the Master Ring forged by the Dark Lord Sauron for the dominion of Middle-earth. When Gandalf threw the ring into Frodo's fireplace, ancient runes appeared on the band that confirmed it was indeed the One Ring, an ancient and indestructible evil. Knowing that servants of the enemy would be searching for the ring, Gandalf told Frodo he must leave the Shire and take the ring to Elrond in Rivendell. He advised Frodo to sell Bag End and act as if he were moving to Buckland to avoid drawing suspicion before the wizard himself left to seek help. Gandalf promised to return, but danger had arrived quicker than he expected. Black riders have appeared in the Shire looking for Baggins, and the Grey Wizard has yet to be seen. Frodo knows he can't wait any longer. He must move quickly and quietly if he hopes to make it to Buckland alive. So let's go ahead and look at our campaign card called A Shadow of the Past. It says, you are playing campaign mode. Setup, attach Mr. Underhill to the ring bearer. Add Gandalf's delay to the staging area. Shuffle Gildor and Glorian, and the ring draws them into the encounter deck. The Shire. He may be seeking for it now, if he has not already found where it lies. Indeed, Frodo, I fear that he may even think that the long unnoticed name of Baggins has become important. So we have the One Ring. It is an artifact, item, and ring. Set up, the first player claims the One Ring and attaches it to the ring bearer. Attached hero does not count against the hero limit. The first player gains control of attached hero. If the One Ring leaves play, the players lose the game. I'll go ahead and attach that to Mr. Frodo. Mr. Underhill. It's a boon, a title. It is permanent. That means it's going to stay until something were to get rid of it. Set up, attach it to the ring bearer so that this does not go on our deck. And as an action, add Mr. Underhill to the victory display to choose an enemy engaged with you. Until the end of the round, that enemy cannot attack you. This has a victory 1, so once we add it to the victory, it won't go into any discard piles. We'll go ahead and attach that to Frodo as well. We have Gildor and Glorian, who is 3 willpower, 2 attack, 3 defense, 3 hit points, and it is a boon. And this one is actually an encounter card, so it's going to get shuffled into the encounter deck. He is Noldor, and it says the first player gains control of Gildor and Glorian. Forced, at the end of the round, discard Gildor and Glorian. The first player may spend 1 fellowship resource to cancel this effect. He is an objective ally. Next, we have the ring draws them. It is a burden. It has Surge, so if it is revealed from the encounter deck, we will reveal an additional encounter card. When revealed at the end of this phase, each enemy in the staging area engages the first player. If the One Ring is exhausted, this effect cannot be cancelled. Both of those cards are going to get shuffled into the encounter deck. Looking at Gandalf's delay. It's a burden. Setup. Add Gandalf's delay to the staging area. Each player draws 1 less card in his starting hand. The next day, Frodo became really anxious and kept a constant lookout for Gandalf. Thursday, his birthday morning, dawned as fair and clear as it had long ago for Bilbo's great party. Still, Gandalf did not appear. So we'll go ahead and add that to the staging area. And I'm going to put it behind the quest card because it's only going to affect our opening hand, and then it won't have any effect for the rest of the game. I'm also going to add a Shadow of the Past campaign card behind Gandalf's delay. So let's go ahead and read the quest card. 3 is accompany A Shadow of the Past 1A. Setup. Set Buckleberry Ferry aside out of play. Add 1 Black Rider to the staging area. And make Bag In the active location. Shuffle the encounter deck. The ring Frodo Baggins inherited from his uncle Bilbo is indeed the One Ring. After conferring with the wizard Gandalf, Frodo decides to leave the Shire and take the ring to Rivendell. Looking at Bag In, it is a unique location. It takes 3 progress points to advance. It is Shire and has a response. After Bag In leaves play, each player draws 1 card for each Hobbit hero he controls. It was popularly believed, whatever the old folk might say, that the hill at Bag In was full of tunnels stuffed with treasure, or card draw, which is really important in this game. It is location with a victory 1, so once we explore it, it will be out of the game. Go ahead and make that the active location. For my setup, we're going to have quest cards, we're going to have the active location, and we're going to have the staging area to the right here, and any cards, any enemies that come down and engage us will be right here. Next, we will place Buckleberry Ferry off to the side out of play. And we will add a Black Rider to the staging area. It has 35 engagement check, really 39 because we have 4 hobbits in play. Thank you, Pippin. 4 threat, 5 attack, 4 defense, 6 hit points. It's a Nazgul. Hide 2, which we'll talk about here in a second. Cannot have non-Morgul attachments, aka you can't play a 4 snare on it. Force. After engaged player fails a hide test, Black Rider makes an immediate attack. So whenever a Black Rider is revealed to the staging area, it's going to have a hide 2 test, and there's some other cards that will have other hide tests on them. When a hide test must be performed, we have to exhaust a character or a number of characters to add them to that hide test. So keep in mind that they can't be exhausted from questing or attacking. They have to be ready when the hide test happens. So when that hide test happens, we're going to exhaust a number of characters and add those characters' willpower together. We're then going to flip over and discard a number of encounter cards based off the number on the card. In this case, it's a hide 2, so we would discard 2 cards from the top of the encounter deck, and we would add the threat of those 2 cards. That's all we're looking for. So if they're treacheries, it's going to be 0 threat. If the willpower we committed is equal to or greater than the threat that we discarded, we have successfully hidden. I will go ahead and put this Nazgul here in the staging area, and let's go ahead and read the rest of the quest card. When a player fails a hide test, each Nazgul enemy in the staging area engages that player, and then it's going to trigger the forced effects after resolving this effect. So if we fail a hide test, the Nazguls in the staging area are going to come down and engage us, and then it's going to resolve their forced effect, which says after engaged player fails a hide test, Black Rider makes an immediate attack. So they'll actually be attacking twice in that round. The players cannot advance unless Bag In is in the victory display. Frodo's friends insist on joining him in his adventure, but danger finds them sooner than expected when Black Riders appear in the Shire. So with that, I think we are ready to shuffle the encounter deck, shuffle our cards, and get this party started. And remember, normally you get to draw 6 cards, but because of Gandalf's delay, we only get to draw 5 to start. We could potentially mulligan if we don't like the hand, so let's see. That's 5. We have a Celebrian Stone. I like to see that early. Helps me with willpower and questing. Reckless Attack. It's going to make us raise our threat, but we get to deal 2 damage to an enemy engaged with us. Dagger of Westernness. This is a weapon attached to a hero, restricted. Attached hero gets +1 attack, +2 attack instead if attacking an enemy with an engagement cost higher than your threat. The target of these, we really want to get on the Pippin, who's swinging for 4 right off the bat, because he's 0 attack, but +1 for each hobbit we control. So that's 4. This would make him 6 right off the bat since our starting threat is so low at 20. We have Adarin's Runes. Draw 2 cards, then discard 1 card from your hand. And a Fast Hitch attached to a Hobbit character. Exhaust this to ready attached character. If you're familiar with this game, this is a better version of Unexpected Courage, at least with this deck, because Unexpected Courage costs 2. This only costs 1, but it does have the requirement that it has to go on a Hobbit, where Unexpected Courage can go on anything, and thus, for this deck, this is a better card. So I actually really like this deck, this hand. We don't have Steward of Gondor, but that's okay. This deck is made up of a lot of 0, 1, and 2, but mainly 0 and 1 cost cards. So I don't need a lot of resource generation in this deck. Let's go ahead and give each hero 1 resource. The first thing I want to do is play Adarin's Runes to draw 2 cards and then discard 1 card from your hand. We have Deep Knowledge, doomed 2, so we'll have to raise our threat, but each player draws 2 cards. And Ringmail, attached to a dwarf or hobbit, attached character gets +1 hit point and +1 defense. I kind of like all of these cards. I don't want to discard any of them, but I guess I will discard a Reckless Attack, which is also going to make me raise my threat if I played it. Each player deals 2 damage to an enemy engaged with him or her. I am then going to play a Deep Knowledge and raise my threat by 2 to draw 2 more cards. Going from 20 to 22. First card, another Deep Knowledge, and the Staff of Lebethron. 1 cost, leadership card, attached to a Gondor or Hobbit hero, restricted. After attached hero exhausts to defend an attack from an enemy with engagement cost higher than your threat, exhaust this card to discard a shadow card from that enemy. In my mind, for this deck, it's a better version of a Burning Brand, which is a lore, I believe, 2-cost card that can only be attached to a green either hero or character. And right now we only have 1 out there, and I really want Sam to be our defender. So even if I played that, it couldn't go to Sam, whereas this could go to any of the Hobbit characters and only cost 1. But the downside of this card is that it only works, we can cancel the shadow effect, it only works if our threat is lower than our engaged enemy. So we have to make sure that we're keeping that down. And I will say, I don't have a lot of threat reduction in this deck. So as time goes on, some of these cards aren't going to be valid if we take too long. With that said, I'm going to go ahead and play another Deep Knowledge for 0. I'm going to raise my threat again from 22 to 24, and I'm going to draw another 2 cards. Dunedain Warning, attached to a hero, and the attached hero gains +1 defense. I'm going to be looking to put this on Sam. Each hero you control gets +1 willpower until the end of the round. Draw 1 card for each Hobbit you control. So for 2 costs, I'm going to be able to increase my willpower by 1 for each hero and draw 4 cards. That's a pretty good card. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to play Fast Hitch by spending 1 lore resource, and I'm going to place it on Sam. This is going to allow me to possibly quest and use him for high tests. I'm going to save Sam's resource for Celebrian Stone. It's going to give a +2 to a character, and I think I'm gonna aim for Pippin to be the target of that, but I need another resource, so I need to wait 1 more round to play that. I'm also going to wait 1 more round to play Ringmail. I need 2 tactics resources. I only have 1, and it's going to allow me to give an attached character get 1 hit point and +1 defense, and once again, Sam is going to be my target of that. So with that, I think we are ready to go questing. So I think I'm going to go ahead and exhaust all my characters to quests. So Sam's going to go for 3. Mary's going to go for another 2. That's 5. Pippin's going to go 6, 7. And Frodo is going to go for another 2, 8, 9. I'm going to go ahead and ready Sam by exhausting Fast Hitch. We can see that there is 4 threat in the staging area, and we need to make some progress so we can get rid of Bag In and draw some cards. So let's go ahead and flip over 1 card from the encounter deck. Remember, we are questing for 9. We have the Woody End. It's a 1 threat, 1 progress needed to clear it. While Woody Inn is the active location, reduce each hide X value by 1. Hey, that's a pretty good one. So we quested for 9. There is 5 in the staging area, so we make 4 progress. So the first 3 are going to be placed on Bag In, which clears it. And after Bag In leaves play, each player draws 1 card for each Hobbit hero he controls. So we're going to draw 1. We get a Bywater Sheriff. 2, a Hobbit Cloak. This would be great for Sam. 3, Gaffer Gamgee. I love this card in this scenario. It's going to allow us to return him to our hand from the play area in order to cancel an attack. Once again, like a lot of these cards, you have to have a lower threat than an engaged enemy. But for the most part, this deck will do that, at least for most of the game. And then Taste It Again. It's going to allow me to defend, and it's going to give me additional attack and ready a hero after I defend. Alright, so we made 4 progress. That means 3 go on the location card, and 1 goes on 3 as company. I don't know if I wanted a quest for this much this early on, but that's what happened, so let's roll with it. 2A, a shortcut to mushrooms. As Frodo watched, he saw something dark pass across the lighter space between two trees and then halt. It looked like the black shade of a horse led by a smaller black shade. The black shadow stood close to the point where they had left the path, and it swayed from side to side. Frodo thought he had heard the sound of snuffling. The shadow bent to the ground and then began to crawl towards him. Side 2B. It takes 14 progress, and when revealed, the first player searches the encounter deck and discard pile for a black rider. Reveal it, which cannot be cancelled, and adds it to the staging area and shuffle the encounter deck. While we're on the stage, when a player makes a hide test, add 1 to the total threat for each ally that player controls. When a player fails a hide test, each Nazgul enemy in the staging area engages that player, and then trigger force effects after resolving this effect. So let's go ahead and find a Nazgul. Oh, that's going to be a shuffle. Gildor was on the bottom. There's one. And we will go ahead and reveal this and add it to the staging area. So we're going to have to perform a hide 2 test. Thankfully, we have Sam who is ready. So I'm going to commit him to the quest. He's committing 3. And we're going to draw and discard 2 cards from the top of the encounter deck. 1, 2. Both treacheries. That's great to see. So we successfully hidden. And now we can go ahead and go to the travel phase. So I think we're going to go ahead and travel to the Woody End. And remember, while this is the active location, reduce each hide X value by 1. This is great, but it only has 1 progress, so it's not going to stay in play long. I am not ready to tackle these Black Riders yet, so I'm not going to optionally engage them, and their threats right now are sitting at 39, and our threat is only at 24. So let's go ahead and refresh and prepare for the next round. We'll raise our threat by 1. We will draw a card. We have another Darren's Runes, which we'll play here in a second. Each hero will get a resource. Alright, we are ready to start the next round. First thing we're going to do is play a Darren's Runes to draw 2 cards and then discard 1 card from our hand. We have a Boots from Erebor. We're going to attach this to a Dwarf or Hobbit character. Limit 1 per character. Attached character gets +1 hit points. Great. And a Dunedain Mark. Attached to a hero. Attached hero gains +1 attack. Also great. While I like this card, I like a lot of the cards in my hand better. So we're going to go ahead and discard this. Next, we're going to spend 2 of Bilbo's resources. Sorry, not Bilbo. It's in my mind. Frodo's resources. To play Frodo's Intuition. Each hero you control gets +1 willpower until the end of the round. And draw 1 card for each Hobbit you control. I'll put this near the staging area so we don't forget. Let's go ahead and draw 4 cards. Steward of Gondor. How about that? That's 1. Build the Pony. Lower the cost to play Build the Pony by 2 if you control Sam Gamgee. So now he's free. Each Hobbit character gets +1 hit point. Yes. Another Steward of Gondor, which is going to help my resource generation. Unfortunately, I can only have 1 on the table at a time, so this one is pretty much useless. And another Ringmail. That's going to give me more hit points and defense. So the first thing I'm going to do is play 2 of Sam's resources, since he's leadership, to play Steward of Gondor onto Sam. And then I'm going to exhaust this card to add 2 resources to Sam. I'm going to play a Hobbit Cloak onto Sam, spending 1 of Sam's resources. And it's going to give him +2 while defending against an enemy attack by an enemy with an engagement cost higher than your threat. So I'm potentially going to bring down a Black Rider this turn, and I'm going to use this to help me defend against it. So we'll go ahead and spend 1 to put this on Sam. I'm also going to spend another one of Sam's to put Dunedain Warning onto him. Attached to a hero. Attached hero gains +1 defense. So we're really beefing him up. I'm going to play a Boots of Erebor onto Sam as well. It's going to give him +1 hit points. And I'm going to spend 2 of Mary's resources, because he's tactics, to put a Ringmail on Sam. It's going to give him another hit point and 1 defense. Right now, Sam is about to fall off my table. He has a ton of attachments on him, and let me go ahead and exhaust Steward of Gondor because I used that this round. And he only has one restricted attachment on him, which you're only allowed two, but all these, they're not unique, and they don't have the restricted keyword except for this last one. So Sam's just going to pile on those attachments and just beef up his defense. Right now, his base defense is 1, 2, 3, and if he defends against an attack with someone that is higher than him, then it's 4, 5, 6. So he's defending for 6 and has 1 plus 2 hit points. So he has 5 hit points defending for 6. That's pretty strong. So I think we're ready to go questing, and Sam can always use his fast hitch to unexhaust. So, and everyone has +1. There's 8 in the staging area already, so it's quite a big number. So let's go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and we'll go ahead and ready Sam. And then because of this card, each of these heroes get +1 willpower. So 10, 11, 12, 13. So we're questing for a total of 13. Let's go ahead and draw an encounter card. It's a Black Crow. It has 2 threat. So 13 minus 10, 4, 4, 2 is 3 progress. 1 will go on the Woody Inn. Clearing it, it's also a victory, so this will go out. It won't go back in the discard pile. And 2 progress will be placed on the main quest. Go ahead and remove this card. That reminded us of our extra boosting. I think I want to defend with Sam. So I want to bring a Nazgul down with me. So I'm going to go ahead and bring one down. So I'm going to trigger Pippin's response that after you engage an enemy with an engagement cost higher than your threat, we're going to draw a card. And that card is Farsighted. So we doomed 1. It costs 0, but we get to look at the top 5 cards in the encounter deck and put them back in the same order. I love this card. Alright, we're going to deal the Black Rider an encounter card. It's attacking for 5. Sam is going to be defending for 6. The Black Rider is attacking for 5. After this attack, the attacking enemy engages the next player and then makes an immediate attack. Ugh, brutal. So the Black Rider is attacking for 5 against 6. No damage is dealt, but now he's going to attack again. So unless I do something, one of my heroes is going to likely die because I have no readied heroes. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this action on Mr. Underhill. Add this card to the victory display to choose an enemy engaged with you. Until the end of the round, that enemy cannot attack you. If I'd known this, I would have probably did it from the get-go to avoid that first attack, but we'll go ahead and use this now so it doesn't kill us. So we will go ahead and discard the shadow card, and we will move on to the attacking phase for us. Unfortunately, we do not have anyone ready, so we will go ahead and move to the next round. I've gone ahead and exhausted Steward of Gondor to give Sam an extra 2 resources this round. We will raise our threat to 26, and I will draw a card. Friend of Friends. Attached to a Hobbit hero, limit 2 copies of Friend of Friends in play. While another hero has Friend of Friends attached, attached hero gains +1 willpower, attack, defense, and a hit point. So I really want to get this on Pippin for questing, and one on Sam for defense. But I need another one in play in order to really make it worth it. So I really want to know what's coming from the encounter deck, because that will tell me how much I can quest. So I'm going to play Farsighted. I'm going to have to raise my threat by 1, but I'm going to look at the top 5 cards in the encounter deck and put them back in the same order. So we have a location coming up. It's 2 threat. And then another Evil Crow. And then we have a hide test, so we have to remember this. So if I draw this one round, the Nazgul is going to attack this round. It's going to get this as a shadow card. Maybe I bring the Crow down and use this one so that it can be a shadow card as well to get rid of it, because I really don't want to do the hide test. So that's 3. We have another location. So not a lot of hide tests on these cards. And another location. So, yeah, I think I might have to bring the crow down so that I don't have to do that hide test in next round. But this round we have a threat of 2 coming out. So we're going to have 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 total threat coming out on the board this turn. Oh, and then after the player's travel here, each player engaged with a Nazgul enemy may ready a hero he controls. That could be pretty useful. So let's go ahead and put that on back. And we did play that card, so it needs to go to the discard pile. And can't forget to raise our threat by 1. So we're going to go ahead and play Celebrian Stone on Pippin, spending 2 of Sam's resources to give Pippin +2 willpower. We will go ahead and play Build a Pony for free, and each Hobbit character is going to get an additional hit point. Thank you, Bill. And then we're going to play one of Mary's resources to play Dagger of Westernness onto him. He's going to get +2 attack, +1 normally, but since he's engaged with an enemy that has a higher engagement value than my threat, he's going to get +2. So we're going to go ahead and spin that 1 to give him +2 attack. So now he's swinging for 6. And then finally, I think I'm going to play Gaffer Gamgee. He's going to cost 2 of Pippin's resources. He's 1 willpower, 1 attack, 0 defense, 1 hit point. Not great, although now he does get another hit point because of Build a Pony. But his combat action, return this card to your hand to choose an enemy with engagement cost higher than your threat. Until the end of the round, that enemy cannot attack you. So that could be huge this round. So we'll go ahead and play him for 2. So we know a 2 location is coming out. I would love to bring the Evil Crow down as well. So it's time to go questing. I'm going to go ahead and quest with Sam for 3. We need to make 14 progress, and we know that there's going to be 4, 5, 6, another 2 coming out. So Sam is 3. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Do I want to do that much? I think I do. I don't think I'll be able to. I could attack with Mary and Sam. So we're questing for 11. We're going to flip over the top card. It's a location. Bam for long. It costs 2, or sorry, it's 2 threat, 2 progress. After the players travel here, each player engaged with a Nazgul enemy may ready a hero. So we quested for 11. There's 8 in the staging area, so we make 3 progress. That puts a total of 5 there. We will go ahead and travel to Bamfurlong, and since we are engaged with an enemy, we get to ready a hero. So I'm going to ready Sam. I'm then going to optionally engage that crow, and each enemy gets +1 engagement. So this really has an engagement of 29. So that is higher than my current threat. So I'm actually, let's take a step back, going to ready Pippin. And then because of engaging an enemy that's higher than our threat, that will automatically ready Sam. Also, because we engage an enemy with an engagement that is higher than our threat, because of Pippin, we get to draw a card. Oh, feint! Choose an enemy engaged with that player. That enemy cannot attack that player this phase. Unfortunately, I do not have any tactics resources to pay for that, but that's okay. So let's go ahead and deal out shadow cards. So Sam is going to defend for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Sam is defending for 6. The Black Rider. If you have failed a high test this round, this attack is considered undefended. Good there. The Rider's attacking for 5. No damage. I'm going to go ahead and do the Evil Crow. The Evil Crow is attacking undefended. Well, it's attacking, but only with attack of 0. So I think I'm going to take this undefended. Could be a mistake. Return attacking enemy to the staging area after this attack. Okay, that's fine. So after this attack, it did 0 damage, so we will go ahead and return it to the staging area. And then I'm going to play a card for 1 leadership resource. After a hero you control defends an attack By an enemy with an engagement cost higher than your threat, ready that hero until the end of that phase. That hero gets +2 attack while attacking that enemy. So I will spin this. Sam's going to get, he's going to ready, and he's going to get +2 attack. So he's attacking for 1, 1 from his special ability, so that's 2, 2 from the card, that's 4. So I'll exhaust him. I'm going to exhaust Mary. So that's 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 minus 4 is the 6 damage we need to take out this Nazgul. Alright, with that, we are going to... I could unexhaust Sam with Fast Hitch, but there's nothing I could do with him, so we will just go ahead and move to the next round. Going to go ahead and raise our threat by 1 to 28. I have exhausted Steward of Gondor for an extra 2 for Sam, and we're going to draw a card. Another Boots from Erebor. We're going to go ahead and play Boots from Erebor onto Frodo. I think I'm actually going to do... Yeah, I'll do Frodo. That costs 0. I am going to play Staff of Lebethron onto Sam. So now, as long as I keep my threat lower than the attacking enemy, I can discard their shadow effect. And that is my second restricted attachment on Sam, so we cannot have any more restricted attachments. And don't forget, I do have a feint in my hand, so I could bring down a Nazgul this turn and potentially do a lot of damage to it. I do need to make some progress this round, so I think I will go ahead and go with Pippin for 4, Bill for 5, Gaffer for 6, Sam for 7, 8, 9. Let's do Frodo for 10, 11. So I'm sending 11. There's currently 6 in the staging area. We have a Green Hill Country. While this is the active location, characters get +1 while committed to height tests. So 11, 2, 6, 7, 8. We make 3 progress. 2 go on this location, and it's going to go out of play. 1 more will go on a shortcut to mushrooms. So 6 of 14. It's not great, but hopefully we can get rid of another Black Rider here soon. The Evil Crow is still not going to engage us because it's at 29, 25 plus my 4 hobbits for 29, and my threat is at 28. So first off, let's go ahead and travel to Green Hill Country to get that threat out of the staging area. And I don't see any travel effects, so while this is active location, characters get +1 while committed to high test, okay. We will then bring down the Black Rider. Because his engagement's at 35 and our threat's at 28, we're going to ready Sam Gamgee and get +1 to his stats, and we're going to draw a card. Oh, I love this card. Halfling Determination. Choose a Hobbit character. That character gets +2 willpower, attack, and defense until the end of the round. So with that, let's go ahead and exhaust with Sam to defend. He's defending once again for 6. The Black Rider gets 1. I am going to exhaust this card to discard a shadow card from the enemy. So go ahead and get rid of that. So he's swinging for 5. I'm defending for 6. No damage. I'm going to go ahead and use Fast Hitch to ready Sam, who's now attacking for 1, 2. Mary is attacking for 4, 5, 6. So total, sending both of them is 8. If only I had 2 more attack. I did mention this Halfling Determination, right? So event, choose a Hobbit character, cost 1 tactics to get +2 attack. So I'm going to spend 1 from Mary to gain that. And I'm going to give Mary +2 attack. That makes a total of 10 attack, minus 4 hit points is 6 damage. He's toast. Alright, so let's go ahead and refresh, gather resources, raise our threat, and draw a card. Our threat's now at 29. I've exhausted Steward of Gondor to give Sam an extra resource. And then I will draw a top card. Doomed 2, each player deals 2 damage to an enemy engaged with him. I would love to see what's coming out. I don't know for sure though. Let's go ahead and quest. I need 8. I need 8 to progress to the next stage. Well, 8 on the quest, and there's another 3 here, that's 11. Here's another 2, 12, 13. So let's say another 3 comes out, 14, 15, 16. I think I could go with the next 1 if it's 16. So I don't think I can send that much though, but we'll try. All right, Sam's going for 3. Pippin 4, 5, 6, 7. Frodo is 8, 9. Bill is 10. And Gaffer is 11. So not quite. Encounter card. Oh, this is nasty. At the end of the phase, each enemy in the staging area engages the first player. If the One Ring is exhausted, this effect cannot be canceled. It is not exhausted. It is a surge. So the crows will come down, and if we get another enemy, it's going to come down. So I'm going to leave this right here as a reminder. But the crows were going to come down anyway. So let's go ahead and draw another card. We have Stockbrook. When revealed, immediately travel to Stockbrook. If another location is currently active, return it to the staging area. Okay. So we will return this one to the staging area, and this one becomes active. We'll get rid of this. We quested for 11. There's 4 in there, so that's 7 progress. 5 will get placed on this, and this will go away. And then 2 more progress will be placed on the main quest, giving us a total of 8. We will go ahead and travel to the Green Hill Country. And then this bird is coming down. Sam is going to use Fast Hitch to ready. And then he's going to exhaust again to defend. This time he's only defending with 1, 2, 3 against 0. And he doesn't get to cancel the shadow effect because the bird's engagement is not higher than my threat. Attacking enemy gets +1, +2 if you fail to high test this round. So I didn't. +1, the bird attacks for 1. Sam defends for 3. No damage. We're going to go ahead and exhaust Pippin, who is swinging for 5. 5 minus 1 is 4, so this evil crow is dead. With that, let's go ahead and ready everyone up, give resources. I'm going to go ahead and raise my threat from 29 to 30, and we're going to draw a card. Another Fast Hitch, perfect. We're going to pay 1 green resource to play another Fast Hitch, and this time it's going to go on to, let's do Pippin. I'm going to save a feint in case we need it. This card's great, but I don't have another copy of it yet, so as soon as I get it, I can put it into play by spending 2 of any resource since it's a neutral card. I have enough to play this, but I'm saving one of Mary's resources for feint, so I don't want to get rid of one. And then this could potentially help us get rid of a Nazgul if it comes out. Alright, questing. We're going to go 3 with Sam, 4, 5, 6, 7 with Pippin. And I need to make probably around 12, unless it's a treachery. So 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Let's see if 11's enough. And then we will go ahead and ready Pippin with a Fast Hitch and ready Sam with his Fast Hitch. So questing for 11. We get doomed to starting with the last player. Each player must either return a Nazgul enemy engaged with him to the staging area or make a hide 2 test. Okay, we need to make a hide test. I think I'm actually gonna do it with Pippin, he's at 4, and because of our active location, makes it 5. So actually, let's just do Pippin for 5, and let's do Sam for another 3. That's 6, 7, 8. Because we have 2 allies on the board, the threat is going to add 2 once we discard these cards. So can't forget to raise our threat. We're going to do a hide 2 test, and we are doing a willpower of 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So we should be golden. Nothing. Nothing. So total threat was 3 plus 1 for each ally, so that's 5. So that's more than enough for us to complete that hide test. We quested for 11. There's 0 in the staging area. We'll place 3 onto here, and the remaining 8 will go on to a shortcut to mushrooms, which is enough to progress us to the next and final stage of this quest. Escape to Buckland. When revealed, add Buckleberry Ferry to the staging area. After several close calls with Black Riders, Frodo can tell they are hunting him. The Hobbit's only hope of escaping their dangerous pursuers is to cross the Brandywine River. If they can just make it to Buckleberry Ferry before they are caught. When revealed, the first player searches the encounter deck and discard pile for a Black Rider, reveals it, cannot be cancelled, and adds it to the staging area, and shuffle the encounter deck. When a player fails a hide test, each Nazgul enemy in the staging area engages that player. Trigger forced effects after resolving this effect. Response. After a player makes a successful hide test, place X progress on a non-unique location in play. X is twice the number of players in the game. Well, unfortunately, Buckleberry Ferry is a unique location, so even if we do a hide test, it's not going to matter. Buckleberry Ferry is immune to player card effects. While there's at least one other location in play, the players cannot travel here, and the first player must make a hide 3 test to travel here. It has 9 progress. After this leaves play as an explored location, the players win the game. So we'll add this to the staging area. We will search the encounter deck and possibly discard pile. Look at that, Gildor's on the bottom again for a Black Rider, and add it to the staging area. Keep in mind that the quest card did say reveal and add, so we are going to have to do a hide 2 test, and it's going to come down if we can't make it. So the only person we have ready right now is Mary. So we are going to have to exhaust him with his 2 willpower to try and pass this test. And we're going to have to do a hide 2. Okay, treachery. Gildor, you're not supposed to be there. Alright, so there is no threat on these cards. So we passed. That means the Nazgul does not come down. And unfortunately, Gildor is now going to go to the discard pile. I would love to be able to travel to Buckleberry Ferry this turn, but we just don't have anyone available. They're all exhausted in order to do the hide 3 test. I also don't have anyone available to block the Nazgul. I guess I could do it with Sam. Yeah, let's go ahead and bring the Nazgul down. That will make questing a little easier, and while we don't need to make progress, I don't want to be raising my threat either. So let's go ahead and bring the Nazgul down, and while I don't have anyone ready, I'll get a shadow card. I am going to do a combat action with an exhausted Gaffer, who says return this to your hand to choose an enemy with engagement cost higher than your threat. My threat is 32, its engagement is 35 plus 4, 39. Until the end of the round, that enemy cannot attack you. So return this to my hand, he cannot attack. Let's go ahead and refresh, increase our threat, draw a card, and give resources out. I can't remember if I increased my threat or not, so we'll just go ahead and move it up again. It might be one too many, but that's okay. That's 34. Draw a card. This gives +2 attack after defending. For 2 lore resources, guess what? Gaffer's coming right back out. Get off my farm. We're going to play a 2-cost Bywater Sheriff. He gets +1 willpower, attack, and defense while you're engaged with an enemy that is with engagement cost higher than your threat, which is currently the case. And that's all we're going to do this round. So we don't need to quest for a lot. So let's go ahead and send the Bywater Sheriff for 1, 2. Build the pony for 3. And how about the Gaffer for 4? Let's do one more. Let's do Pippin for 5, 6, 7, 8. And then we will do this to ready him. Come on, not a location. Not a location. Ah, it's a location. So it's 2 progress. 2 plus 3 is 5. I make 3 progress. It would go on the main quest, but that's pointless, so I'm not going to put any there. We cannot travel to Buckleberry Ferry while another location is in play. So we're going to have to go to the Pathless Country. So let's go ahead and do that. It gets +4 quest points while it's in the staging area, but it only has 3 right now. I'm actually going to defend. I'm not going to use the Gaffer right now. I'm going to defend with Sam. And when I defend with him, he's going to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 defense. His ability doesn't trigger because we didn't engage him this round. So 5 defense. I am going to exhaust that one card on him to cancel the shadow. So he gets a shadow, it's canceled. So swing him for 5, defend for 5. I will ready Sam. And then we have to do 10 damage if we can. So Sam is 1. Mary is 4, 5, 6. So that's 7, 8, 9. Oh, so close. So I am going to go ahead and raise my threat. So 9 damage, doomed 2. So we'll move to 36. And then each player deals 2 damage to an enemy engaged with him. It's 9 attack, minus 4 is 5 damage, and then that card dealt 2 damage, so a total of 7 damage is dealt on this card. So we'll go ahead and discard it. All right, let's ready up and get ready for the next round. Raise our threat. Draw a card, another staff. And we're going to go ahead and give resources out. I'm not going to play anything. I just need to be able to quest for probably 8. 3 from Buckleberry Ferry, 3 progress points on Pathless Country, and then another 2 or 3, let's say 9. So hopefully a location doesn't come out. So let's go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and we'll ready him. We're going to go ahead and ready Sam 2. That's 7. And then let's do Build a Pony for 8 and Gaffer's Gamble for 9. All right. It's a treachery. Return each engaged Nazgul enemy to the staging area. If no enemies were returned to the staging area by this effect, Rode like a gale gains surge. So have to do another one. Peril. In a multiplayer game, this would mean that only the person that drew this card could resolve it. You cannot tell anyone what the card is. You have to resolve it on your own without conferring with others. In a solo game, it's pretty straightforward. When revealed, search the encounter deck and discard pile for a Nazgul enemy. Either add it to the staging area or put it in play engaged with the first player. Shuffle the encounter deck. It says add it to the staging area or put it into play. It does not say reveal, so we do not have to do the hide 2 test. And I'm going to put it engaged with me. So I'm going to look at the discard pile. I'm going to put this engaged with me. When it engages me, I'm going to go trigger both of Sam, who's now going to have +1 willpower, attack, and defense. And Pippin is going to allow me to draw a card. We have a Hintermouth River Song. I quested for 9. There was 3 here, so I make 6 progress. 3 goes on here. 3 goes on the main quest, and that's okay. And then I need to make a hide 3 test in order to travel to Buckleberry Ferry. So I'm going to send Sam for 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and Frodo for 9, 10. Hide 3. 1, 2, 3. So perfect. I can now travel to Buckleberry Ferry. We're going to quest hard next turn. The Black Rider is going to get a shadow effect. Sam is unfortunately not ready, but I'm going to go ahead for 1 resource and play Faint, which means we'll discard this shadow and he cannot attack. We're going to exhaust Mary, who's going to be attacking for 4, 5, 6, because remember his engagement is 39, our threat is 37, so we're still under it. So 6, an additional 2 because this guy gets +1 because his engagement is higher than our threat. So that's a total of 8. 8 minus 4 is 4 damage. All right, with that, we will go ahead and move to the next round, and we need to quest our butts off. We will raise our threat by 1 to 38. We'll draw a card. Calabrian Stone, worthless right now, and each hero is going to get a resource. We'll go ahead and play for 1 resource, a copy of Hintermouth River Song. Exhaust to look at the top card of the encounter deck. Perfect. So now we know exactly what's coming. So let's go ahead and exhaust him to look at the top card. And we have a Surge. When revealed, attach to a Nazgul enemy in play if able. Limit 1 per enemy. Attached enemy gets -10 engagement cost and gains force at the end of the refresh phase. Return attached enemy to the staging area. Well, that doesn't help us because it's a surge. Okay. Well, I think our best bet is just to send everyone questing, and I could potentially ready Sam if we don't make it. And I could also use the Gaffer to prevent a Nazgul from attacking. So 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We'll go ahead and ready him. 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Go ahead and ready Sam. So we're sending 15. Okay, so we will attach this to the only Nazgul in play. So -10 engagement, but it's already engaged with us. And then we will draw another card. Peril Hide 2. If you have failed to hide test this phase, remove each character you control from the quest. Oof. Okay, so all we have to do is do this hide test, complete it, and we have won the quest. So I'm going to send Sam for 3, Pippin for 4, 5, 6, 7, and we have to do a hide 2, so we'll draw top 2 cards. 4, and nothing. Thank you, Gildor. Thank you. If I had pulled another Nazgul, we would have lost. We would have not lost, but whew, that was rough. All right, so we have successfully done the hide test. So we can remove this card. We quested for 14. There's 0 in the staging area. That means all 14 go on Buckleberry Ferry. And with that, we have won the game. We do not have to defeat the Black Rider because we're trying to run from it, hide from it. So the resolution: choose Gandalf's Delay or the ring draws them and add it to the campaign pool. Then choose Gildor and Glorian or Mr. Underhill and add it to the campaign pool. The chosen cards have been earned by the player. Ooh, I like both of those. I like Gildor, which I never even got to use, or the campaign pool, or Mr. Underhill. I don't mind starting with a hand of 5 because this deck has some card draw, and there aren't a lot of cards that I really need to make the deck work. So I think I'm not going to do the ring draws them because that is a surge and just nasty. So I'm going to choose Gandalf's Delay, and Mr. Underhill can be clutch. I think I'm going to use Mr. Underhill. The ferry boat moved slowly across the water. The Buckland shore drew nearer. Sam was the only member of the party who had not been over the river before. He had a strange feeling as the slow gurgling stream slipped by. His old life lay behind it in the mists. Dark adventure lay in front. He scratched his head and for a moment had a passing wish that Mr. Frodo could have gone on living quietly at Bag End. I hope you come back and join us for A Knife in the Dark.